Hello, my name is Layla Karadman, and the artwork I chose to analyze is a dandelion with a tiger moth, a butterfly, a snail, and a beetle by Regina, Dietzch. This watercolor can also be known as a dandelion for short. Here is a copy of the watercolor. A dandelion shows 3 dandelions with different insects on and around them. Each dandelion is in a different stage. A dandelion has a dark black background and uses an array of dark shades with small pops of color on the dandelion and on some of the insects. The artist of a dandelion is Regina, Dietzch. Dietzch is from Germany and lived in the 18th century. The exact dates she lived are unknown, however they do know it was during the early 18th century. Dietzch painted this watercolor in the early years of her life in Europe. This painting is a watercolor style done on parchment paper. Dietzch used the traditional style of painting at the time to paint a dandelion, which she also used in many of her other paintings. The location of a dandelion can be wherever the audience decides, because Dietzch made the background of the watercolor a plain black color. Dietzch did this on purpose to allow the audience to decide for themselves where the location would be and to allow them to have an opinion on it. The location of the watercolor itself began in a small European showroom. However, a dandelion first debuted internationally in the Fine Arts Museum of San Francisco. A dandelion is no longer in the Fine Arts Museum of San Francisco, but it can now be found on the Museum Image Consortium Library, also known as the Amico Library, which is an online art museum that contains over 100,000 paintings that are no longer in museums. At the time Dietzch created a dandelion, a new era was occurring in Europe. Europe had just come out of the Dark Ages and was now moving into the Enlightenment period. The Dark Ages referred to the fall of the Roman Empire at the time in Europe. Those had just ended and they were moving into the Enlightenment period, which was trying to embrace the notion that humanity could be improved through rational change if everyone came together. Dietzch used this change in era in a dandelion and many of her other watercolors she made at the time. A dandelion symbolizes the change from the Dark Ages to the Enlightenment period. Dietzch used the plain black background of a dandelion to represent the Dark Ages. Dietzch also used the bright blue dandelions to represent the coming of the Enlightenment period. The different insects around the dandelion were meant to symbolize different people coming together to try to make humanity better, which was the goal of the Enlightenment period. Here is my works cited. Thank you for your time.